Hey everyone, it's Ryzen. Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy IV: The After Years. Well, I capped out on Spider Silks over at Kaipo. I made it a new moon. And as far as my equipment, well, I stripped Luca naked because she's not used here. Gave Golbez the diamond helm back because I don't need a ribbon. Don't have a Giants Glove, give him a power armlet. Rydia, same as before with the fairy rod, gold hairpin, luminous robe, level band. Could give her the rune armlet, but I want the experience. And Edge, if he doesn't have a Giant's Glove, if you don't have one, just give him the Hyper Wrist. But I have a Giant's Glove, so we're gonna go with that. You can't buy Spider Silks after this, I don't believe. I don't think you can. Though some enemies drop them. Once we go to the end of the castle here, to the throne room, that's it. Point and no return. Make sure you've done everything you want to do. We'll be locked into the final dungeon, basically, after this. For the next, like, 20 hours. I'm only half exaggerating. Seriously, it's a really long final dungeon. Alright, first things first, we're gonna fight Odin here. And Cecil. Odin doesn't do anything, don't worry about him. You gotta go for Cecil. Start with a Spider Silk, and then we're gonna go ahead and get Blink on the front row. Get Bard Song going. If we're lucky, we'll get Haste March. That's not bad. You could Blink Rosa, but she's in the back, so it's not that necessary. And then we're going to use Saint Dive. Primarily because he's in the back row. And Rosa can't do much anyway. I suppose you could try, Actually, I don't know, just... I guess he does have a band, but I don't think it's gonna be good. But I'll test it. That's not bad, actually. I suppose we can use that. Oh, we got Haste March. Good, I didn't even notice. Yeah, we'll go ahead. I wasn't planning on using that, but that seems to be doing a little bit more damage. Because he's in the back row there. At least I think he's doing more damage. This is a pretty easy boss. I guess I can check that. Yeah, that's definitely doing more damage. So we'll keep going with Rocket Launcher then. Wasn't planning on doing that, but might as well. Once Kane's out of MP, go ahead and use Jump. I suppose I could use X Chaser. Now that I've run out of MP with Theodore. Oh, I guess I don't have the people for it. Or the battle's over anyway. Must be with Cecil, Sid, and Rosa. I don't know, I don't use too many bands. Yeah, once you do a certain amount of damage to Cecil, Odin will trigger his dialogue. Also, Cecil, why did you summon the literal King of Baron? Like, what did you think was going to happen? He was going to just, like, be loyal to you or something? I don't think you thought this through. Yeah, Cecil really can't do much. All he does is, like, attack you. I could have reestablished Blink at some point, but Cecil's so easy, it doesn't really matter. That's not really the real boss. Yeah, you didn't think this plan through, Cecil. Also, you're kind of evil now. Hey. How's it going? Yeah, Luca's here. Oh. Oh my god, it was Golbez all along! Even though we knew that, but they act like it's a plot twist or something. Even though we knew this already. But we get epic boss music for real boss fight against the mysterious girl. For real. Seriously. Trick to this battle. Kill her before she uses Meteor, because there's basically like a Doom counter that's hidden. And if you take too many turns, she will just use Meteor and it will kill you. She'll also use Leviathan and Bahamut too, so gotta watch out for that. Start with a Spider Silk. Attack with Theodore. Might want to use Shell, actually, now that I think about it. We're going to use Band, White Mage, Rydia, Band, Black Magic, Band. Basically, white and black magic. I'm going to attack with... Yeah, we'll use Shell. To protect from Mega Flare and Tidal Wave. You can use Ninjutsu level 2 with Edge, but because I have the Giants Glove, it's basically about as powerful. Yeah, look at that damage from Holy Burst there. One of the strongest bands in the game. I love that one. If you're using Rydia and Rosa together, it's a fantastic band. I mean, I guess we'll use Frost. I'll show it to you. That it is indeed not really that much better. But if he only had a Hyper Wrist, it would be better. I mean, it can be better. The damage range is a little better, but... that wasn't too bad. I'm actually going to use Kiraga this time. Could summon Titan. Yeah, let's summon Titan because I'm waiting on Holy Burst. One more shell ought to do it. Yeah, see? But you can go either way. I mix it up, basically. Yeah, Holy Burst is going to be the vast majority of your damage. I just happen to have Rydia doing something else there for a second. I know she looks like she's floating, but she's not. Yeah, sure, we'll use Blast. There's Mega Flare. Now we can actually have Theodore attack. After Mega Flare, she's going to use Meteor soon, so you need to take her out. Shell should help that. It's a much weaker Mega Flare than normal. Yeah. Probably one more Holy Burst ought to do the trick. Come on, Rosa, Rydia. Man, I love Holy Burst. It is so good. It can even break the damage cap with a limit ring later. It's really good. There it is. Got her. Yeah, you take too long, she uses Meteor. You will die from it. It's a real battle. I mean, it's not. She's not a pushover. For some reason, they're still calling Golbez the Man in Black. I don't know why. Yeah, I like how Golbez is just like, yeah, I got bad news for you. That's only like one of her. He's like, what are you talking about? She's dead. Yeah, but there's a lot of them. A lot of them. They'll explain it eventually, but whatever. For some reason, there's just a bunch of Rydia clones around. I mean, we know from Interlude they were, like, doing some sort of Eidolon program. Somebody is, apparently, and it, like, copied Rydia, basically. I mean, if you're gonna copy somebody, it might as well be Rydia. Yeah, it really is Cecil. Like, that was not like a mine. That was not like a fake Cecil or something. Like, that is legitimately Cecil that, like, became a villain in this game. I mean, granted, he was like mind controlled or whatever. Even though he's a paladin, and that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. I'm sure you do, Golbez. Yeah, they're done with it, I guess. They're gonna, you know, crash the moon into us or something. That doesn't sound good. We could punch the moon if you want. It's also not... Yeah, seriously, it's not actually Golbez's moon. So there's nothing he can do. Yeah, the crystals are up there. I don't know how you could do that. It's in space. An airship can't go up there. But we have, you know, Golbez's ship anyway, so, you know, maybe you should, like, tell us this. Yeah, we finally have party control. Finally. This is the end of the Crystal's Tale, by the way. And now we're moving into the True Moon Tale, as it's called in the original cell phone version. Not the last tale, by the way. Second to last tale. Even though we're in the final dungeon. The final dungeon is really freaking long, if you can't imagine. Now, I'm not going to do anything else in the tale right now. We're going to go through the cutscene. I will show you my party, and then I will talk about other characters and what I think about them. Oh, hey, we're seeing this scene again from way earlier. Somehow Cecil didn't recognize Cain, I don't know. Thanks, Cecil. Did you, like, remember or something? I don't know. Thanks, Cecil, for, you know, reigniting your own trauma there. Yeah, he's, like, completely mind controlled. I mean, it was pretty obvious before, but they're more blatant about it here. Somehow, Mysterious Girl is, like, using him like this somehow. Yeah, flashback to what we just saw 5 minutes ago. Sure. Trying to stop you. Being evil, apparently. That's what you're doing, Cecil. Yeah, something to do with, like, his old Dark Knight self or something. Still being, like, around, I guess? I guess his old insecurities were tapped into or something. Just Bahamut just floating there awkwardly. Oh yeah, that's when she decided, I guess. I don't think that Mysterious Girl was any stronger than any of the other ones, by the way. Well, maybe she was. I mean, we did fight her with multiple party members. I don't know. Maybe they have different levels of power. She might have been like the one that was leading all the ones on the planet. I mean, she's dead now. Not that it matters. There's a million of them, but... Hey, Cecil, you want to join the party? I probably wouldn't use you anyway. Cecil's basically identical to how he was in FF4. Terrible backup healer, pure offensive fighter. Has a cover ability. And pretty fast. strong physical attacker. Has some, like, some white magic, but not very much. Basically, Theodore is better than Cecil outside of pure physical damage. So if you want to use Cecil, you might as well just use Theodore. Theodore does a little less damage, but he's way more versatile. But I did use Cecil once, and, you know, he's fine. Although, this Cecil really sucks. Yeah, apparently he's, like, trapped in his own mind or something. He's basically a zombie right now, and Cecil has really bad stats. He has, like, 10 on everything. He's horrendously bad. For quite some time, actually, so if you want to use him, you have to deal with that, basically, for him being basically useless for a good chunk of the final dungeon. Oh, yeah, I guess, like, the tides and stuff are going crazy, and the winds are going crazy. Basically, the moon is ripping the planet, like, to shreds at this point. Not physically, but you know what I mean. It's causing all sorts of problems. And Whisper Weed, I guess, is out of range. Probably not good things, I would guess. Which is why it's weird that you can go back in the 3D version, because basically it was implied to be like a complete apocalypse at this point, but whatever. Obviously, we need to stop the moon, basically. Apparently, the moon affects people's minds and animals. Sure. Just accept it. And this is like an evil moon, I guess. So, you know, that's a thing. Yeah, it's clearly going to crash into the planet. Like, how have you not realized this? I like how they're surprised by this, even though she literally said, I have no more use for this planet. And then she, like, buggered off. Oh, somehow we're getting pulled in. I guess. I guess this is why we can't, like, leave this place. We get, like, tractor beamed in or something. I don't know why they would do this when they, like, don't want us there. Maybe they're trying to crash us, but whatever. Your husband's fine, Rosa. He's just a zombie right now. You alright? Never mind, he's not alright. Oh, I'm pretty much going to be sticking to 2 moon phases for the rest of the game, by the way. New moon most of the time, and full moon for some bosses here and there. The other phases aren't really that useful. Probably whatever's in his head, I would imagine. Either that or he's playing a lot of poker in his head and it's not going well. Yeah, that's it. We'll go with that. Oh, the other characters are all below deck, by the way. But if you didn't import data, these are all the characters you would get. Sadly, I think only Luca is like one of the new characters you actually get to keep, other than like Golbez. Unless you count like the new version of Kane. Oh, yeah, we have to like talk to everybody. I mean, we don't have to, but we can pick everybody up. You get some extra dialogue if you do. So, might as well. Yeah, Rydia actually walks around the airship. Everybody walks in different, like, parts of it. There's more characters down below as well. Like, Ursula's down below, basically. Basically, the characters down below are characters that would not be here if you didn't import your data. Most of them, you know, whatever. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but losing Ursula is really the big one. Seriously, Ursula is one of the best characters in the game. Now, I will rearrange my party. And then I will show you my party. And then I will talk about the other party members. Let's see, you got anything of note to say? Can I talk to you, please? Oh yeah, Sikanawa's like really crushing hard on Porum for some weird reason. I don't know why. He's got bad taste in women, I guess. Yeah, Porum was just... It's just not that interesting a character in this game. Talking to frickin' Ursula is a pain in the ass. I swear you could talk to her. Of course. Ursula! There we go, jeez. She moves too much, basically. Yeah, we just like randomly let Harley still stick around for some reason, even though Edge said, you know, we're not going to. The dolls are kind of annoying to bring with you. Oh, there's like free heal points here, by the way. Because they have like no dialogue, so they like completely waste a dialogue slot. Yeah. So you talk to anybody, you can change your party. Let's see where, I just put Rosa in for now for a second. I want to see where Theodore is so I can talk to him. Oh, there he is. Okay, so first things first, bring in the characters that were equipped. And I'll unequip them, and then I'll rearrange my party that I want to use, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and, well, this is the party I'm using. I was gonna use Porum initially, but I thought about it, and I should probably use one of the newer characters, so I chose Leonora because she's the only new white mage, basically. Unfortunately, she does not have haste. You might want to use Porum instead. Basically, all the equipment will apply. But we have 30 Hermes sandals, and that's enough for whenever I want haste. So, yeah. She does get haste, by the way, and she just doesn't get it till level 51. Which she will get. It's not really that far off. But, yeah, this is what I've got equipped. Now, nice thing about Ursula is she can equip the Queen's Whip. Put it in her right hand. Pay no attention to the attack power. It doesn't actually do anything for her. Believe it or not, monks just ignore attack power. But yeah, give her the Queen's Whip, Cat Claws, and she will actually attack full power from the back row. Pretty awesome. So that makes her low defense mean next to nothing. Also got a Diamond Armlet because I need lightning protection at this point. You could give her a Giant's Glove, but you would lose the lightning protection, but you could go either way. I think the Diamond Armlet's more important at this point. Golbez, now he would normally have a Hyper Wrist, but, well, I have a Giant's Glove, so I have it on him. Basically because he already has lightning protection, but eventually I'll drop it for something else. Ribbon, because nobody else really has room for it. Defender, Aegis Shield, the usual. Rydia is basically the same as she was. Normally, if you're using Porum, I would actually give the Rune Armlet to Rydia and give the level band to Porum. Because that's just the way the stats work. But because basically Leonora has slightly lower spirit. Not much lower, but slightly lower. So I want to give her the Rune Armlet instead. And leave Rydia with the level band. It works for the whole party, so don't worry. Luca, I'm going to be using her. Got the same thing as before. Sledgehammer, Horned Helm, Rose Twine Dress. I might actually check to see if there's some multipliers I can give her. Mystic Veil, will you... Yes, it will. Okay. If you do not lose a multiplier by equipping the Mystic Veil, then by all means give her that instead, because it'll give her +1 speed, and that's quite useful for her. So we're going to do that. You know, she might actually be able to get a multiplier from speed if I give her the Mist Wrap. Nope, not quite. I'll have to keep an eye on that. So go back to Rose Twine Dress. Luca really needs the speed. And Leonora, she's got basically what I would have given Porum, with the exception of the level band. I have a Rune Armlet instead. So we've got the Aura Staff, Mystic Veil, Luminous Robe. Yes, she has black magic. It is just terrible right now, so I don't intend to use any of it. Except for Stop. She will be using Stop. Stop is quite useful. She'll basically be a stop bot when I want to use black magic. But her white magic is quite good. I know she only has Kira right now. That's fine. She'll get Kiraga at level 45, and that's fine. She already has Blink, so that's good. She has Shell, Protect. Not that I care about that, but she has Blink and Shell. That's big. And she'll get Haste in 11 levels, and that should happen not too far off, honestly. We get a lot of experience here, so we should be fine. And if I really need haste, I have enough Hermes sandals that I can use those instead. Typically, I only put haste on like 1 or 2 people in a boss fight, so... Yeah, that's the party I'll be using. Now, if you go outside, if you are going to use Edward, come out here, or Edge, or Gecko, come out here. You can buy Manji shurikens. They throw and do a ton of damage. I wouldn't, like, load up on them, but, you know, buy a few here and there, you know, like 10 of them. They're pretty good. And then on the sundries, they sell X potions, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Yeah, just cap out on those if you're using Edward. Because you get an economical ring on him, salve. He's really going to kick ass for you. He's one of the best characters in the game. That's a nice shortcut later that we can use. Now, as for the other characters, you know, I'll take a pause in case I mess this up. What I want to say here. Okay, basically for the other characters that you can use. Start with the dolls here. Kalka is honestly completely useless. Unfortunately, Jive is just terrible. I mean, you'll be using it throughout the most of the final dungeon because you're going to have to because he has nothing else he can do. And it's just awful. It is a terrible ability. Even if you proc a damage one, because it's based on his current HP, it's just going to do next to no damage. He's a terrible character. He doesn't get functional until basically the last part of the game, and even then, he's easily the worst character in the game. Brina, however, is actually pretty good because, well, she has Dance, and Dance is useful for the entire game. Even if it's all she ever does, it is useful. And eventually she actually gets access to, you know, a really good dagger. She gets the Assassin's Dagger later. It's quite good for her. Kalka does too, but Brina's better in every way. She's also the fastest character in the game, so I actually really like Brina. She's actually useful. So, yeah, and Harley is a lot better than people make her out to be because Guild Toss is actually a pretty good ability. It doesn't cost that much, and it deals good damage to everybody. It's powered up by the full moon. I mean, it'll do a good couple grand to all enemies, so it's not bad. And whips aren't bad, actually, and they're back row okay, so she's not terrible. Piercing Sight is pretty useless. It doesn't work on any bosses, unfortunately, which really sucks. And sometimes it doesn't even work on a normal enemy. It's stupid. But yeah, her stats are all weird, but even so, but she's actually not that bad as a fighter. Let's see, the Eblon 4. Tsukudawa's the best one because he's the fastest. He has backup healing. Ninjutsu's not so good because it's non-elemental, but he's good because he's back row capable. He's got some good HP. Has a very good band with Zangetsu for haste all. And so yeah, you want to use them together if you were going to use Sukinawa. But he's pretty good. Izuyoi, much better than people make her out to be. Bows aren't too bad. She can do back row damage. She can use whips. There's even an intelligence boosting whip for her that'll boost her frost spell later. And frost is very useful. I don't think she's quite as useful as Sukinawa, but she's pretty good actually. So if you're playing the 3D version, she's one of the best characters in the game. I'd actually highly consider using her if you were playing the 3D version. For some reason in the 3D version, bows for Izuyoi and only Izuyoi count as dual wielding, which means they get double attack power. It basically means she has as much attack power as the best sword in the game, if not more. She's better than Edge in that version of the game. I'm not kidding. Like, she's that good. I think she's like a top 3 or 4 character in that game. Zangetsu, he has the lightning ninjutsu, which is probably the best element to have. He's got good intellect. Human Kite is basically the same as Jump. It functions identical in every way, including against a certain boss. So Zangetsu's not too bad. Spears are a decent weapon as well. There's some good spears. Gecko, he's basically a faster Sid with terrible fire ninjutsu. His intellect sucks. But hammers and axes are okay, so he's not terrible. And he also has the throw command, or the mini throw command, the Shuriken clan. Shuriken command, which is very, very good, actually. It deals a lot of damage. I would only use it on bosses, but you know, you can't throw them in on every boss because you don't have enough money for it, but you can throw them on some of the bosses, at least, you know, 1 or 2 a boss fight, and you should be okay. Really good ability. Illusions is terrible for Izuyoi, but her ninjutsu is good. Oh, Izuyoi is also a great backup healer, and she also has access to a revive spell. She gets like a better heal spell too. She's quite useful for backup healing. Let's see. Edward, best pure healer in the game. Economical ring, X potion, salve. 4,000 HP to everybody. Really good. He also gets some decent weapons late game. Not amazing, but some decent ones. And he'll also get... he also has Bard Song, which can be useful for buffing. It's not quite as versatile as Porum or Rosa, but better pure healer, so... You know, very useful character. Porum, really, really good white mage. Pray Command is a good filler move. Her white magic is really good. She has the best spirit stat in the game. She's all around just an amazing white mage, and she can learn an ability later on in the game that'll let her be able to cast more than a single spell, so she's quite useful. Actually, she's really strong. Palom, again, really strong. Best pure black mage in the game. Bluff is terrible in this game, but black magic is obviously very, very powerful. He's a little slow, but he can actually do the most damage of any black mage in the game because he can actually, also like Porum, can get access to an ability that will let him cast more than one spell, which unfortunately Rydia cannot get access to. But he lacks the versatility that Rydia has, and unfortunately Rydia is kind of mandatory for a few fights, so that sucks. But if you're willing to switch, you know, Rydia in for the few times you have to, Palom is a very good option to take for your black mage. Yang, he's basically the same as he is in FF4 plus the cover counter ability. You can also stack it with the Cecil's counter or cover ability in interesting ways. I think you can have like Cecil cover him and then use cover counter on Cecil, and Yang will counter every single time Cecil gets hit or covers somebody, basically. Pretty useful, actually. Kick is not that good anymore, but focus is alright. And he's fast, strong. The only downside to Yang is that Ursula's just better. He's also got elemental coverage. Sid's not too bad. Probably the slowest attacker in the game. His problem is that Luca and Gecko are just better. Wrist Strike is terrible. But, you know, he's perfectly functional. He's viable. He's got some good equipment draw. But a little slow. You can solve it to some degree, but Luca's just better. Edge, probably the best character in the game. Has all the ninjutsu of the other ninjas. He's ridiculously good, except for their unique ones. They have like a couple of unique ones, like Izuyoi has a revive one that Edge doesn't get, for example. Throw is basically good for throwing shurikens. I never use Mug, really, but yeah, Edge is just awesome in basically every way. Kane, again, one of the best characters in the game. Uses spears, which... Actually, I think he uses swords as well, but yeah, he's got a good equipment draw. He's got jump, which is still pretty useful. He's got some good bands. He gets a really good one with Theodore towards the end of the game, and he gets some actual useful white magic, not for healing, but for buffing purposes. So, you know, not bad. And he can function as an okay backup healer, although I wouldn't rely on it. Rosa, again, basically she's a white mage in this game. Her ranger abilities aren't that great. Blessing is an okay ability for a filler, and she gets really good white magic, and she has almost as much spirit as Rosa, as Porom. The only downside is she doesn't get that ability that Porom can get late game. But she's perfectly functional. She has a fantastic band with Rydia. Cecil, he's the same as he was in FF4. He just sucks right now, but if you put up with it, eventually he becomes a really strong physical attacker with, you know, like the ability to use Asuna, basically. And a couple of other white magic spells. Nothing too useful, though. I think he gets Blink, which is pretty good, but that's about it. Theodore, he's basically a better version of Cecil. He's... Awaken can be useful if you stack it with Haste and Berserk. Deals some good damage. Can hit the damage cap for 3 turns. His white magic is actually good for healing as a backup healer and for buffing. And he's fast. He's got really good equipment draw. He's actually a really great character. Yeah, we're going to make it a new moon. Now, as for the characters that I chose... Yeah, basically pretty much the only really useless character is Kalka. Everybody else is perfectly viable. And I suffered through using Kalka. And believe me, I tried really, really hard to find a use for him. I did. I tried really hard. And he's just not useful, unfortunately. I was hoping that I could get Jive to proc something useful at some point, and it just never happened. I mean, a lot of characters surprised me, like Harley being as useful as she was, Brina being as good as she was. Brina was probably the biggest shock. Like, she was actually pretty good. Unfortunately, her best weapon is the Mage Masher right now, same with Kalka, so that kind of sucks. So she'd be a pure dance bot, but dancing is actually really useful, so, you know, it's not the end of the world. Let's see. Ursula, yeah, she's basically a better version of Yang. She has less strength, but more speed, and that's more valuable. Obviously, we've seen Golbez has the ability to basically be super versatile. He can taunt to be a tank, use black magic, he can function as a pure black mage. He can also function as a physical fighter on the front lines. So, either or. He's very good. I mean, he can even be in the back row and just taunt. I mean, just... He's such a versatile character. He's really strong, too. Rydia, obviously, she's basically the more versatile black mage with her summons. I mean, you got the single targeting summon that bypasses Reflect for healing. Bomb is really good if you get it. She has the elemental summons for split damage, or for that don't have split damage. Oh, we got Odin back, by the way. They didn't really announce that, but we did get him back. But more importantly, she gets all the useful black magic spells, and she's not that much weaker intellect-wise than Palom. I mean, they'll be functionally the same at the end of the game. Luca, she's a little slow, but we can solve that later. And she's not that slow. She's not Sid slow. Obviously, Leonora is really slow, but again, we can solve that later for her as well. And we will. But, yeah, she's got a great equipment draw. The late game hammers and axes are pretty strong. And she is female. That is a really good attribute to be. It's better to be female in this game than male due to certain equipment that you can equip. And it makes Luca really freaking good. I don't think she's like a top tier character, but she's pretty good. I have her in the front row right now because Ursula is a little frail, but eventually Ursula will get better at that, and I can get her some more defense multipliers. And Leonora is basically here as my white mage. There's really no bans I have. The only band I really have is a Lightning Brainbuster with Bridia and Luca. But yeah, Leonora will function as my white mage with some backup black magic eventually. Let's see, she's got 39 intellect. Yeah, she'll probably end up with having like 50 or 60 intellect by the end of the game, I would imagine, but there's some good stuff I can give her, basically. That'll make her, you know, some decent backup damage, I guess, but primarily I just want her as my white mage, and she's very good at that. Alright, so, yeah, that'll do it for here. I meant to... Oh, I did make it a new moon. We're going to save, and next time we will go through the moon. Well, we'll start going to the final dungeon. Jess is Ryzen. Thanks for watching. Take care.